Hi, okay, so this is a topic that I wanted to cover because it's kind of like at the intersection of wedding season and vintage fashion and also like woo-woo energy and the concept of incorporating vintage items into your wedding scheme or having a vintage engagement ring. So I had recently attended a wedding and they had informed us that the bride's veil as well as the groom's pocket square were made from a vintage wedding dress. And it's also, not unheard of to, recycle and upcycle and reuse things. And I'm in full support of the basically like the circular fashion economy as a whole, and the idea that things should have more than one life, especially something as beautiful as a wedding dress that as much craftsmanship goes into creating. It's kind of a shame, actually, like from a both a resources standpoint and also like a fashion standpoint. It's kind of a shame that you're only in it for however many hours and otherwise it sits in a box or worse. So I do fully appreciate that, and I like the idea of making something old new again, giving something new life, recycling something until it's no longer usable, basically, because a wedding dress, let's face it, a wedding dress could be worn more than once. It's not something that after you wear it the first time, it's like, oh yeah, you can't, this is done for. The useful life cycle of that product isn't used up after one wear, of course. And so I do really appreciate that and think that from like a recycling standpoint as well as like that vintage standpoint, I do think it's very cool. But the one caveat that I want to make, and this kind of goes for engagement rings as well, and I'll get into this a little bit more in a second, but items hold and conduct energy. And so I think that one of the things, and this may sound superstitious, but I think that one of the things that's important if you're considering getting a vintage engagement ring, getting a vintage wedding ring, incorporating some kind of a vintage element into like your wedding day aesthetic, especially something like the ring that's going to like symbolize your marriage. If you're going to go the route of getting something vintage, I think that it's really important to find out the story behind that item. Like to find out, like, was that an engagement ring that was for a happy marriage, or did that end in disaster? Like, if you knew the story, I don't think anybody would want a wedding ring or an engagement ring that had symbolized a marriage that didn't last 60 to 100 years, right? Like you're when you aren't buying something new, you're buying something used. You're buying, part of what you're getting is the story of that item,